We recording?
We're recording.
It's like a hip hop star. We recording? Yo.
Look at this. What do we have here?
So this is Henry Weinhardt's, and something he does unique with this. If you can see the packaging, it's made from cane sugar. So apparently he's going around just jacking old people's canes.
Yeah, there's a big problem in the elderly community.
And he's just grinding it down, and that apparently is what it's made with. So
I feel like big scooters are going to be just booming now. Like people with like,
ones?
oh yeah. They're going to take off.
All those old people limping around.
So are we going to crack it open?
Are we starting with this, or this is your podcast?
Yeah, let's crack it open.
Okay, let's crack it open. So we've got number 2.
Last
week last time I guess we should say, we had like a vanilla cream product, and this is Henry Weinhardt's root beer, gourmet soda made with cane sugar.
You got some barrels at the top. Is it made in a barrel? Is that how root beer is made?
I don't know. I love those little root beer barrels, though. Doesn't really say who's it made by.
We're going to get a couple weeks in and just not know how root beer is made.
1856.
Holy shit. 1856. This has
been dry aging.
Dry aging.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
All right.
Now what we do is we score them 1 to 10.
Okay.
And you can't do a round score. It's got to be like a
no
technical.
Rookie scores. Yeah. That's pretty good.
It's decent. I wouldn't say it's pretty good. It's decent.
Really? Do you have a number one that you have had?
So in Vegas, there's 2 places that have root beer on tap. The one, I don't know if they still do. I think they do. And Ellis Island is a little mom and pop casino off the strip. I think it's right near where Tupac got shot, supposedly, because he's not dead, but that's where they say he got shot.
Yeah. Where he bought his ticket for Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they have their own root beer they make in-house. It's unbelievable. And then I'd say Binion's Casino, Jack Binion's, the original like Vegas casino, they have root beer.
Yeah.
That's pretty phenomenal.
What are you looking for in a root beer? Like, this tastes like the Ellis Island one to me. I'm not a very seasoned root beer guy. I like A&W.
So I like... I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking. I'm just looking for a good ass root beer. I can't. I'm not a cultured person. I can't go. I'm looking for the hops to breathe, and the cane sugar. I'm looking for oaky taste.
Looking for that wooden cane taste.
I think I'm just looking for the sugar to punch me in the face.
Okay.
One of my favorites is Abida. Is Abida?
This isn't a joke.
No, isn't there a song? I took a pill out of the Ibiza.
It's like
Ibiza.
It's like stepping on like eggshells.
You
just
think
like,
it's a D's nuts joke?
Yeah.
I bite a D's nuts. It's actually a root beer. It's on tap at the Eagle downtown.
Oh, great.
And that's one of my favorites. So I'll say
that activates the chemicals inside as well.
6-7.
6-7.
That's pretty high.
Oh,
we were pretty
high out of 10. He says 6-7's high.
Yeah.
He's like -4.
I give it a 6.2.
6.2.
Okay.
This last time we were pretty different. I can't remember the scores that we gave.
I gave that
them.
thing a 4.8.
Yeah, and I gave it pretty high up. I think we're pretty close on this one. I'm going to give it a 6.9.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I like that. But I think it needs more vanilla.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking for.
I think before we kick this off, we got to show Shaheen this video.
Okay.
Because we were talking about Zooms and mistakes that have happened on Zooms, and we were joking about the Judge I'm Not a Cat video.
Okay.
And Shaheen hadn't seen it, so I'll show it, and I guess maybe in the editing thing we can...
What's the guy on Rogan where it's like, pull this up?
Oh, yeah. Pull this out. It takes like a minute every time.
Yeah.
So here it is. So this is a Zoom call during the pandemic with the judges and some attorneys.
I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take
we're trying to. Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it.
Here it is.
I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I'm not a cat.
I can see that. I think if you click the up,
How far we've come.
I love the straight faces that judges have.
Oh, yeah.
The lawyer has.
Had you never seen that?
I've never seen
Oh, that's a great. That was the greatest Zoom ever. He's like, it's me. I'm not a cat.
I do like how he was prepared, like pretty early on. It's like, I'm just going to run with it.
But how competent are you if that's your attorney? And he's telling the judge, it's really me. I'm not a cat.
I'm not a cat.
You're going to jail.
Maybe he needed it for the record. He was just like, all right, it's going to be on the record that a talking cat is doing all this work. No.
That's funny.
Yeah, how far we've come with
yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah. It's wild. The Zoom era was just great for those like almost America's Funniest Home Videos type videos that have popped up. So I did want to start it with, we went to the food show, the National Restaurant, is it Association?
National Restaurant Show, the NRA show.
Yeah.
Which I had learned early on when I was sharing things on my personal Facebook about being in Chicago at the NRA show and I'm holding like a burger. I had to tell people what in the rifle show.
Yeah.
People were telling like, you're in the restaurant space. Why are you at a rifle show?
Well, you guys were talking about it all through PizzaCon, and I was like, we're going to be going to the rifle show to video? Okay. All right.
People.
We're going to take a very different approach to our content.
Pizza to rifles.
Oh, yeah.
We met up at the NRA show one year and ate downtown at a little cafe on the street.
Yeah, what was that? It's closed now. I'll think of it. The little French bistro. Cafe Margot. Bistro Margot.
Bistro Margot.
Okay,
Yeah,
Bistro Margot.
Show, right? NRA show years ago.
That was like,
gosh, 10 years ago?
10 years ago, probably.
Wow. It was a very cool show. I mean, it was huge. You have, I don't want to say venues, but it was like 3 almost floors of just nothing but restaurant-focused machinery, like ads, products, all that stuff.
It's everything. I mean, I think the one year that I went, 2019, it was 4,400 booths. And when I say a booth, like a booth might be 20 by 10, one might be 10 by 10, one might be 100 by 100. And so it's, if you can imagine anybody watching this, if you're not in the restaurant space, you walk into a restaurant and anything inside there
absolutely
is there.
Oh, yeah.
Things you haven't even thought of.
Yeah.
They had amazing gyros. Those sample gyro things.
Those were amazing.
I just kept going back.
And I had terrible acai bowl. Acai. The guy had a soft serve acai.
I didn't want to say it was
amazing.
bad.
And you don't want to tell the guy to his face it tastes like crap. But I'm like,
it didn't taste natural. It was very odd. It was not what you've tried.
I was talking of acai. I wonder if the acai, because I had an acai bowl before this.
Yeah.
I wonder if that might have changed my palate, that this root beer is better.
It might have.
I'll have to maybe try this
in
later, like in an hour, and give you maybe, if the score's the same, we'll just stick, but maybe we can have a revision.
Okay. Yeah. This sounds fantastic. Well, we didn't go for the same reason that we went for PizzaCon.
Nope. Pizza Expo.
Pizza Expo.
Yeah.
We went to Pizza Expo. What was that? Like a month ago already?
2 months.
2 months ago?
That was like the week before we recorded the first episode of this.
Yeah. And we were preparing for that, and we got some pretty good stuff out of that. And we never really talked about it on the podcast, where we were doing the geolocation and we were basically throwing ads out there, but also getting interviews at the same time, basically getting people in. This time we kind of took it a little bit down a notch, but we still got a lot of very good stuff while we were doing almost hyper focused interviews with those experts behind the restaurants
instead of random one-offs. And what we should say on this one, because when I watched the first episode, which by the way, great job. I'm guessing was it Connor that edited it?
Yeah, we did he was Switcher. He was Switcher and doing all that. Yeah.
Okay. So great job on that. And great job.
Yeah.
But we talked about our strategy at Pizza Expo.
Mm-hmm.
And we did exactly. Well, it was kind of comical. I'm like watching the podcast. I'm like, oh shit, we actually did what we said we were going to do. Like,
oh yeah.
We followed it through. We had the ads running. We then went to the arena, filmed a new ad, turned that one on. We did an A/B test, and we found that the send message campaign worked better. And we had a lot of people opt in. I think we had like 80 people opt in. We did, 40 to 50 interviews. The one guy was the funny guy, the Detroit Pizza, who got me with a D's nuts.
It was good.
And some fake email like your mom at
yeah.
something.
And I mean, we're still going through that content. Like, it set us up for a while.
We got a lot. And at NRA show, the strategy was a little different because we thought about doing the same thing there. Yeah. But the problem is there's so many damn people.
Oh, yeah.
And the arena is so big. It's not like you can say, look for the guys in orange because, well, where are you? Like, what are the 30 places you could be?
Yeah.
So we just went around and talked to people that we knew and had some good conversations with different experts in the industry out there and a couple companies that were getting some feedback on what they're doing differently. But the NRA show is a tough one for me. I think Shaheen and guys like him that have been in the business or in restaurant would appreciate it more.
It's my favorite show.
Yeah, because I have no clue what half this crap is. Like Chris, one of our clients from BBQ Productions, was all excited over a new frying machine and over this bag sucking compression thingamajigger. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sounds cool. Like I was looking at the robot running around.
The coffee machines were wild.
They do have some good coffee machines. That's the problem there too. Is I probably had like 19 samples of coffee.
Espresso.
I was just walking around.
Oh, and they were handing out like those nitro drinks. They had C4 there. It was just like every single place you looked. It was
I avoided
caffeine.
C4. I didn't touch it.
Yeah.
That's where I found the Celsius drink.
Yep. Celsius.
And
we
my
got
wife
had
had gone with me, and now she's hooked.
It's so good.
Like a 18
Pepsi owns that now.
Is that right?
Did I ever tell you the story about the Celsius when it started? So Celsius, funny thing about it, I'd never heard of it. And when we launched the original concept of America's Best Restaurants, we drove the van down to Florida and met with Kevin Harrington, he was on one of the original Shark Tank guys. And we get to this restaurant, this real fancy breakfast restaurant. We're meeting him there, and he's drinking this Celsius drink. And he's all about it. Like, you guys got to try this. You got to try this. And my wife had been looking for a drink. And this would have been June of 2021.
Okay.
So
sounds about right.
A little over 2 years ago. And he's telling me the story that he had Kevin Little, is that his name? The pony-haired ponytail guy, fitness guy, does all the infomercials. Tony Little. Tony Little was approached with an endorsement for it, and it was what he called a penny stock one, where they'd say, hey, we'll give you, 100,000 shares of stock. We can't pay you. We don't have any money. And Tony Little, his agent at the time, was tired of doing those deals and turned it down. And Kevin was number 2. And Kevin's like, I like the product. I'm not too proud to do a stock deal. Well, at that time, the reason he was showing us this was he had showed us the value of the stock, and he had texted Tony that morning that his shares were worth $47 million.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm just looking at this text, and he's like, oh, yeah. And he said, now I'm got certain vesting. I can't dump all of them at once. I have certain levels. But he must have got a big payday because it's Pepsi now, from what I understand. It's on the can at least. Okay. So I would imagine that Pepsi owns it.
Pretty nice surprise to wake up to.
Yeah, so I don't think he woke up to the surprise.
Yeah,
but, I mean, it grew. But could you imagine being the guy who turned that down?
Oh,
and you get a text message from your friend like, hey, remember that deal the bone you threw my way? 47 mil.
Wow.
So if the next Celsius is out there, I'm your guy. I mean, I'll do the penny stock thing.
It sounds fantastic.
We'll all three do it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Look at that.
Can I day trade it? 5 minutes in and out.
Yeah.
It's linked to GameStop, all those crazy stocks and everything. Well, we got something pretty great while we were there as well. We met up with the Crafty Cow.
Oh,
and we went to the pop-up, and we had some pretty awesome food. Like, we ended up getting a burger with Nashville Hot on it, or it was a Nashville Hot chicken sandwich with some crazy butter sauce and everything on top.
But you've got to set the whole scene.
Yeah.
So we're at, the NRA show. Mm-hmm. So you're there, and you're snacking on every damn booth. Piece of pizza, a small little Euro, donuts. We had mini donuts, cookies.
We had so much.
We had so much food. And so we had planned on we were only at the NRA show for, 10 o'clock to probably 4 o'clock. And we're like, we're going to meet. Devin was doing a pop-up at 5 o'clock. He's one of our clients, Crafty Cow. I cannot wait to go to his restaurants in Wisconsin this summer. But he was doing a pop-up down in Chicago at a friend's restaurant who was closed that day. And he was just experimenting, which I thought was cool because that's what you got to do, right, to get ahead. So we're like, we'll be there at 5. He's doing 5 to 9. So we're walking through the show, and then Chris, one of our clients, is like, well, dude, you're going to dinner with us. I'm like, what do you mean we're going to dinner? Like, I got reservations at this steakhouse. It was, what was it called? 48?
It was a number.
It was a number.
Was 48 something.
Yeah, some steakhouse number, which apparently there's one here and one in Florida somewhere.
It's right next to Uno and Do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he invites us to that, and we can't turn down that. So we go there, and he orders every appetizer on the menu. We had Wagyu as the appetizer at a steakhouse.
And then I ordered Wagyu after the Wagyu.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah.
And I had a big old steak, so we crushed some food there. So we already been at NRA show for, let's say, 6 hours eating everything in the world. We then scoot over to a steakhouse and eat with Chris and a couple other restaurant owners.
Yeah.
And then we go to Crafty Cow, and he's got Nashville hot chicken sandwich. He's got what's the pork belly?
It was pork belly, deep fried in chicken oil, and it had a Nashville hot sauce.
Nashville hot sauce. We had some crazy ass burger, French fries.
And then I think the highlight, which was Nashville hot chicken ramen.
Oh, yeah, I
where
forgot about that.
Just strips of Nashville hot chicken were in the ramen, with a Nashville hot broth.
And you're one of those
like
fancy, like, you eat a lot of Oriental food, don't you? You're always like sushi in it over here.
Oh, yeah, sushi all the time.
Yeah, I'm a Kentucky hillbilly. I grew up just
oh, yeah, you crush that chicken.
But yeah, we ate. We were already in a bad place when we got to the steakhouse.
Oh.
And then when we got to Devin's place, we were in a bad place. When we left, we had hoped to drive home that night. And I think it was like
looking at it like,
I think it was like 11:30 at night. Then we're all looking at you like, man, this ain't happening. So we had to pull over and find a hotel at midnight.
Oh yeah, that was the fastest I've ever fallen asleep. That was crazy.
After driving 5 hours up, walking for what, 7 hours?
We clocked it in at what, over 4 miles only at the convention.
No, 7.
7 miles.
7 miles.
7 miles. That was what Peter had one of those watches.
It was a lot. It was a lot of walking. Well, I thought the Nashville hot chicken ramen was a fun idea. So I was like, I wonder what other combos are out there. And I wanted to see if we had your approvals for what has been created in this world.
Okay.
Let's start it off with something wild that I saw, which was a Philly cheesesteak ice cream.
Oh my God. I was going to tell you, I had something wild on ice cream one time.
Yeah.
I put A1 on buttered pecan one time as a bet.
That doesn't sound good.
I was a kid. I was stupid.
But these people are like actually making
that
it.
sounds terrible.
Yeah. They're putting meat in the ice cream. That gets a thumbs down. Okay.
Somebody needs to be throat punched.
This one, we have a hot dog lobster roll. I'm talking hot dog. We got that thick bun, and then you got lobster on top of it.
I can see that.
You can see that
You're
working?
mixing the lobster with the hot. You're serving the.
So you have the hot dog, and it's like a Chicago dog where it's loaded, but it's loaded with lobster.
I can see that.
Kind of like a surf and turf kind of deal.
Fattiness.
Yeah. Okay, so we get a thumbs up there. Spaghetti and dumplings.
No.
Yeah.
I love chicken dumplings. Chicken and dumplings are my jam. I couldn't see.
Same thing. Spaghetti and dumplings is the same product.
Yeah. Yep.
Flour.
I saw that and I was like, "There's just no way."
Spaghetti's flour?
Semolina flour.
I thought spaghetti was like a new. I don't know. I thought it was like a naturally grown noodle.
You know, it seems.
How do you make
a tree?
Yeah.
Spaghetti tree.
So hold on.
Yeah.
Noodles like spaghetti and raviolis made with flour?
Oh yeah.
Semolina flour.
And
How do I
eggs.
know this?
Yeah, you just throw eggs and flour together.
That's it.
And you just mix it up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then put it through a machine and make the
Yeah.
noodles. So yeah, that's the same thing then. Yeah, exactly. I agree with him.
I just feel like that's a football star's like carb up dream. It's just like, oh yeah, we're getting crazy with the
I don't know
noodles.
what I thought spaghetti was made of. I didn't know it was flour. Isn't that from Italy? I'm going to Italy like in a month. I'm gonna have to ask them what they.
You're gonna have to ask.
I'm screwed.
You're gonna come back and you're gonna know how to make
You're going to
spaghetti.
France,
It's gonna be great.
Croatia, Greece, and Italy.
And I don't know.
If you have a hamburger or chicken wing there, we're done.
You know we will.
Okay, no hamburger chicken wings. I can have pizza though, right?
They have pizza there.
You can have pizza.
They do pizza right.
Only in Italy.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard what was it? Oh, the coffee shops in Greece are wild.
Okay.
Because their
Like wild,
coffee
like fights and shit.
Well, it's not like a normal coffee. It is sludge at the bottom, and then you drink what's on top. It's some special like grease,
It's like Turkish coffee.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to be careful when drinking
mud.
that. Don't go.
Do you eat the mud?
No,
The coffee
You
mud?
don't want to eat that. You don't want
Okay.
to eat it at all. We'll finish it off with something that I thought you would be interested in, which is a spicy acai taco bowl. You have jalapenos in there, mango, a little bit of like mashed up avocado, stuff like that, and the acai.
Couldn't do it.
You wouldn't venture out to that?
Because the acai for me, fruit. I associate the fruit with Plus, I've eaten it so many times.
Yeah.
Had maybe I not had 1,000 acai bowls, I might. But the fact that I associate, like me, acai is with peanut butter and granola and coconut.
So it's kind of like a trail mix for you.
Yeah,
like a little
I
bit.
couldn't see throwing that in there.
Okay. You want to venture out to the spicy acai?
You could turn it into a salsa, I would think.
Yeah.
You know.
It would kind of be a salsa. Is acai a salsa?
Are you saying acai or acai?
I'm saying acai.
It's acai.
Acai? Ah.
Yeah, you get ass out of your mind. Jeez. Kids nowadays.
Well, I wanted to, since you're a restaurant marketer and restaurant marketing expert, we wanted to have a marketing segment. Marketing segment. Yeah, we'll throw some graphics on there. But we do have a comparison where, or actually not a comparison yet, we're going to focus on social media ads, okay? So we've done a lot of social media ads for restaurants, but also us. Now, people are always comparing of what is maximizing ROI, or what is it a good and bad practice to maximize ROI with social media ads and online targeting?
When you say maximize, you mean push it to the limits? Or
Yeah, so sometimes we run into clients where they are like, what's the ROI on this? Am I getting anything out of it?
What you mean is, can you overanalyze it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I did a video the other day for some clients. And I was walking through 8 strategies. And I said, these 8 strategies are what you need to create the ultimate restaurant marketing plan. 3 of the 8 are very trackable. 5 of the 8 aren't. You've got to have an understanding that some stuff that you do along the journey just builds up micro attention, and that not everything's going to have an ROI. And that's one of the problems that we see. People, they don't see ROI on most of what they do now. And the minute they see a little ROI, it's like, shit, I better see it everywhere. And that's a problem. But you have to have tactics in place that do both. And you have to have the understanding. It's like a sign. Did you ever put up a sign at your restaurant? Did we introduce Shaheen, by the way? I don't think we did.
I don't think we told the story.
You're a terrible host.
Yeah.
We'll have to tell that. But Shaheen is new to the team, 40 years in the restaurant space. How many years did you own Burrito Joe's?
23 years I owned it.
23 years, and then you had Simply Grand about 10?
10 years.
10 years. Knows his stuff. But let me ask you this marketing question. Did you ever on a daily basis look up at your sign on the outside and go, this thing is not getting me an ROI? Did that ever happen?
Yeah. And the logos on the bags,
Yeah.
and the boxes, and the
It never happened, right?
right.
And that's what people don't realize is that I'll never forget, we had this client, Coconut Kenny's, amazing pizza. They're out on the West Coast near Bellingham, Washington, I think is where they're actually at. We're somewhere north of Seattle. I don't remember how we got there. And we flew and drove a bunch of places. And he was spending like $6,000 a month on radio advertising. And he was spending a couple grand a month with us and Facebook. And literally was getting massive return. I remember showing this to Peter Wiley of Rapid Fired Pizza and Hothead and said, what do you think of these results? He goes, Matt, if you got me 1/10 of that, I'd love you. This guy's results, I was like, $20,000 spent, $400,000. And front end sales. And every time we turned around, he overanalyzed everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, are you looking at you're spending $6,000 on radio a month? Mm-hmm. You have no clue what's happening there. But the minute somebody gives you an inch, you take a yard.
Yeah. You've
got to be open to the fact that some stuff's going to be measurable, some stuff's not.
Yeah.
And that it has to be combined. It's like when I go to the gym today and I get a good workout here in a couple hours, after the workout, I will feel it.
Yeah.
But I won't necessarily feel that my sleep the past week attributed to that. I just have to know that good sleep I had all week attributed to me being in a better place at the gym. Mm-hmm. Well, your restaurant's no different. You're doing Facebook Lives every day on your Facebook page and talking to your customers and talking to employees and doing an interview with the mayor of your city. You're not going to see 100 people walk in tomorrow and say, hey, I'm buying a burrito because of that.
Yeah.
But you got to, money follows attention. If you can't comprehend that, like I told a guy the other day, he was kind of being difficult. I said, dude, take your sign off your building. What do you mean? Well, if what you're telling me now is you don't acknowledge the value of attention, then why do you have a sign on your building?
Yeah.
Bullshit. Take it off. Give me a screwdriver.
It's a slow process too. Like if you want to, even if a restaurant is starting like a podcast, it takes some time, and I feel like people are wanting that ROI really, really quick, and that's what sometimes like ruins the like content process. And then you're always starting and then stopping really hard and then starting again, and it's just not
Look
going
at
to
the
go
Biggest
anywhere.
Loser, the TV show.
Yeah,
Those people get on there, they're 400 pounds, they lose 200 pounds in 3 months, and guess what? In a year, they're fat again.
Yep.
yeah,
It's not a short game; it's a long game.
mm-hmm.
There's no silver bullet.
yeah.
No,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what people are looking for. You know, they run things down to where now it needs to get saved. And they need that silver bullet to, okay,
Yep.
can it pull me above water again?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
It's a slow process. Any reputation takes time to build. You know, and without the trust that you build out there, you know, you're not going to go anywhere.
oh yeah.
Doesn't Shaheen look like he's boozing with the bottle in his right?
Friday, baby.
So you got to tell the story of when you moved back here from Seattle, and you were. I'll set the scene. You're having some kind of dinner party at the house. I'm picturing like swanky pink with people with the pinky up, and you're walking down the street to go to the butcher shop, and tell the story what happened.
Okay, so I was actually the chef at Arnold's downtown.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
And I was going to Averill Meats on Court Street to pick up something for a dinner I was hosting as a chef. It
Okay.
was I think it was a pork tasting dinner.
Oh, I thought you were having like a swanky dinner with some
No.
ladies.
No,
Damn it!
my
You just
wife
lost some
wouldn't
street
like
cred.
that, but so walking to Averill's, right next to Averill's used to be a pizza shop that was shuttered.
Yeah.
For lease sign on it.
Okay.
Just walked in there, got to Averill's, and I'm like, I need this, this, and this. Walking out, I was like, man, this just makes too much sense. Called the guy the next day. How much is the rent? Came up with a concept overnight, essentially.
Wow.
Broke out the credit card, bought some used equipment, hand painted everything, tiled, whatever, plumbing, everything that needed to be done. We got it done. Opened up in like 3 weeks.
Wow.
Line out the door from minute one. It was
Really?
crazy.
What year was
Wow.
this? Like mid 80s?
This was, 28 years ago, so this was early 90s.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
28 years
That's
ago
amazing.
last week.
Yeah.
So.
That's ballsy. That's
Yeah.
a cool story.
Oh yeah.
And then that was a small store, too. Court Street was a very small store. A year later, we did the same thing at Burrito Joe's 4th Street.
Where did Joe's come from?
Just made it up.
You just literally like
Literally made it up.
burrito, and that guy's name's Joe.
Yeah.
Well, my dad goes by Joe.
Okay.
So that was kind of a...
Did he get any kind of royalties?
No. My best friend growing up, his name was Joe.
So just
So it just
Reoccurring.
rolled off the tongue.
Joe
It
Mama.
just made sense.
it's
yeah.
Joe Mom.
And I had
yeah.
an early experience at Burrito Joe's. So when I interned for George Vogel at Channel 5, the NBC station, I interned for him, a guy named Kent Weaver, and a guy named Rufus. I don't even know what Rufus's real name was, but they called him
Okay.
Rufus. And this is back, I graduated college in December of 98. I interned there all of 97, part of 98, then worked there first quarter of 99. Well, apparently they had an initiation thing. They would take people to Burrito Joe's. I don't remember which store it was.
Ludlow.
Was it Ludlow?
Yep.
And took me there. And when you would apparently not be looking, you had all these sauces on the table,
Hot sauces.
hot sauces. And when I go to the bathroom, and I'm guessing they had somewhere, hey, go wash your hands or whatever. I don't know. I go to the bathroom. While I'm gone, they load my tacos with some crazy ass hot sauce.
Yeah.
And all I remember is coming back and like taking a bite and just being like,
Oh yeah.
So this sauce was not on the table.
Okay.
This was behind the counter, and you had to ask for it.
Yeah.
It was called Dave's Insanity Hot Sauce.
Okay.
And all it takes is like a drop, and you're on fire.
Yeah.
yeah.
And George knew about that hot sauce, so
Okay.
he asked for it, and I guess.
Oh, that's
he
great.
got
I was the
off of
victim.
it.
Like, so
Yeah.
basically, Shaheen participated in my bullying.
Yeah.
There's probably a class action.
There
Can
you
you
go.
Google that? Class action lawsuit? Yeah,
I had, oh gosh, it was when we did, we were going to Pigeon Forge for the Guy opening day.
Guy Fieri, when
Yeah.
we opened up.
So Flavortown with
Downtown
Guy
Flavortown.
Fieri, yeah. So we were going there. It was 90 to 100 degrees, something like that. It was scorching hot outside. And I have a system with a couple buddies where it's like a pact where when you see a Pepper Palace, which is a hot sauce sign in like south and it's kind of going up a little bit, you have to walk in and do what's called the end challenge. So I didn't know any were in that location yet, and usually they're on the strip of
Right
Gatlinburg.
next door.
Yeah, and I wore a sweatshirt that day because I didn't have any shirts, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna wear the sweatshirt. It's like 90 to 100 degrees, and I see the sign, and I'm like, all right, Logan was there to help film, and I was like, here's the camera, get a little bit of B-roll. I gotta do something. I gotta do this, and go in, and I didn't know they upped the challenge from 1 drop to 5 drops. So it was 5 times more. I take it. I'm sweating. I'm pacing around the store. I walk outside covered in sweat.
It was a hot day.
I grab the camera. Guy shows up, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going inside to film him. And I was not in a good place.
I remember that. It was a hot day too.
That was
hot as
crazy.
could be out there.
Yeah, that was the most like heat delirious
And
I've
the
been.
place was packed. Like people, I don't even know if it's that 500 or 1,000 people show up to see Guy. Well,
Oh,
you
yeah.
couldn't get into the restaurant unless you were there for this VIP event, which we were filming and interviewing Guy and doing other stuff there, a client of ours. And people were trying to get into the restaurant because it was so hot outside. They had security.
Oh,
and all
yeah.
sorts of crazy stuff.
I didn't realize how famous the Food Network guys were. Like he was like surrounded.
Guy's a
and-
unique.
Yeah.
Guy's a unique animal though, because he's been doing it for a while and he's
Yeah.
legit. I mean, I don't know how anybody could not like Guy because he doesn't have that
Yeah.
attitude that some of these people. There's some people like John Taffer you love or you hate.
Yeah.
I can't fathom anybody saying anything about Guy. I mean, and people ask me when
yeah.
I met him and interviewed him, is he like, how is he? I'm like, oddly enough, we had like the same vision on everything. It was kind of crazy.
Oh yeah.
He's a good guy too. I mean, he did a lot of things for restaurant owners during the pandemic,
Yeah.
as far as fundraising.
Oh, and what he
things
was
of that
talking
nature is
about.
incredible.
Yeah, it seemed like it went right alongside like helping people out and being like, you got to know their story, because he brought up the music where it was like you got to know the person behind the music. You enjoy it better. I didn't realize how mobile his setup was. As a media person, I was checking out the camera. I was being like, all right, what are they running for this Food Network show? Because they were doing an episode of, what was that? It was
the first episode, his brand new show,
yeah.
and I don't think it's been released yet. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it, but it was called
Road Trip or
Guy's
something.
Great
like-
American Road Trip.
Yeah.
And it was he had 50 people with him. Literally, he brought them in. They had a motorhome. They flew some people in. They apparently had a convoy, and they were going to be doing this Guy's Great American Road Trip or something like that.
With his family.
I haven't seen anything about it. I wonder if it's online.
Yeah. And
Because that was when was that? Last summer? It's been almost
yeah, that was a year ago.
His son's getting really involved in
His
this,
son was
too,
there.
Yeah.
Yep. And it was such a mobile setup. Like I'm talking like smaller camera. I was expecting like the big old like news cameras and everything, but no, they kept it efficient, and it was
All American Road Trip. Here it's on Food Network.
Yeah.
Fridays at 9 p.m. So it's out.
So
Oh yeah.
This is season 2. So apparently I'm
on
really
tonight.
damn.
And
So
they-
I go to season 1. I wonder if it's going to say Matt Plapp was in it. I haven't
They
watched
kept it
any of them.
efficient too. They were in and out. Like they had it down to a science. Well, we have a segment. Well, actually, I do have one more point for the marketing segment, which was story doing versus storytelling, if that resonates with you at all. With
What the hell's a story do?
so story doing is going and actually doing your things in the community and actually showing what you are doing instead of talking to the camera behind a set. Like restaurant owners, for example, storytelling would be them behind a camera with a selfie just talking about what happened for that day. Or they can go out into the community with a football team
Yeah.
and show the fundraising or something that's happening there.
Equivalent to sitting in a room like this and doing a podcast on working in the community for the local football team fundraiser, or doing a vlog and filming the actual charitable event and being out there.
Yeah.
So you're saying which is better? Is that your question?
I was thinking about it before, and I did pose it as a which is better. Like, what would you prefer if you were in a hypothetical restaurant showing off your menu items or your community? But it kind of turned into a blend of like, which one do you have to use for which situation? You have to use both. So I just wanted to see if you had any stories on people using Storydoing very well, because that's not a common practice.
Not enough people captured on video, but we've had plenty of clients that capture it with pictures. And so Chris, for example, from Barbecue Productions up in Kenosha, I mentioned, who took us to steak. We had steaks with that one night at NRA show. I had seen where he went to a elementary school and talked about the process of a barbecue restaurant. And he had talked about it. But I said, dude, post those pictures on your Facebook page for your restaurant. Like, show you in the community teaching these kids about being a restaurant owner and about the pork and pig and blah, blah, blah. And it blew up. Now, a lot of people, what happens is it's awkward for people to get out there and film what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, what's the saying that it's, doing something, what people don't, it's not what people see, it's what they don't see.
Yep.
And so a lot of people are hesitant to highlight that and look like they're maybe narcissists. So it's tough. And then a lot of times too, these restaurants I know, like I'm sure Shaheen was just like this. You're doing so many things like that. You're not thinking about filming while you're doing it. It's just part, it's secondhand nature. Mm-hmm. And it's like second nature to you. So worst case scenario, have pictures of it.
Yeah.
And then you use that to then sit down and talk about what you saw. If you're going to do it inside the restaurant, say, last week we had a chance to go to Gray Middle School and talk to 50 7th graders about entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. Here's some things, some questions I got. Here's some things I've learned. And you could use that to tell the story, but then capture it, whether worst case scenario pictures.
Yeah.
Because that's something that's ultra important to people. I always talk about marketing, massive attention, massive excitement. Well, as great as everybody thinks their food is, it doesn't get people as excited as you might think.
Yeah.
But you being out in the community does.
Oh, yeah. And people connect with those. Actually seeing something also gives it that like visual aspect of being like, okay, yeah, that's how you make that dish, or that's who you're interacting with. We were in Florida with a restaurant called The Hangout, and it's owned by two brothers, but their mom and dad are also involved. Yep. And we were talking about a gator roast they do every single week. They go get an alligator, just one of them, and then they break it down and they sell that to other people who want to try it out. And the dad...
Do they just go like tackle a gator in the pond? Or do you
that's what we were wondering. And the dad had video and photo process of him. He goes out by himself like 40 minutes out into like this backcountry, like,
and finds a gator.
And well, no, he finds this farm, and there's a whole process of you pick the gator, and like all this stuff happens.
I'm picturing this dude pulling off on the side of
the
road. No. You were building up. Wasn't he building up to that?
He was jacked. He could do it.
I've met him. They're from New York.
Oh yeah, and no, he had video and photo for every single step of the way, and we were like, you need to post that to people, because that's an interesting way of getting that out to people.
You want to hear a story about them?
Yeah.
How I met them. I was going to Fort Myers to meet with Chip, who was on our team for a couple years. I land in Fort Myers, and I open my phone up, and I've got emails. And one of them was, I get copied when people request a copy of the book from our website. One of them was Peter, one of the sons, who had requested a copy of the book. And I saw Naples, Florida. I'm like, well, shit, I'm right next to Naples. And I had a slot. We were running to 3 different restaurants. I had a spot that was open. And so I moved a couple things around, and we had dinner. I had dinner with him, his brother, his mom, and dad, and hand-delivered the book. And it was pretty funny, because I'm like, hey, here's the book. And then we talked, and we had a good meeting. And probably 2 months later, they reached out for marketing help. They became a client. They've been a client now. I bet that was January, because I went to Fort Myers for 3 months in a row to train Chip. It was January, February, March of 2021.
Nice.
So that's going on 2 years and a couple months ago.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, great people, great restaurant too. They have a creme brulee cookie that blew everyone's minds.
I had the chicken parm.
We had the chicken parm as well.
That was legit. And
Oh.
did you have that grilled cheese pork sandwich? They
No,
had a
no, we didn't do
double-decker-
that one.
They had a double-decker grilled cheese sandwich.
They talked about that one, I
with
think. Yeah.
Pulled pork. Well, it wasn't pork. It was pork, but it was like burnt ends, I think, in there with mac and cheese like in it. It was insane. Like
That sounds-
it was.
they
I was
had
in a
some
bad
wild
place.
food there.
And their pizza was good. I made a pizza.
Oh,
I got
that's
together
awesome.
making pizza.
Very nice.
Basically a chef. Basically can open a restaurant now.
Your steak the other day online. Those pictures look pretty.
That
pretty
wagyu,
strong,
I made wagyu. That was
That
strong.
rib,
Yeah.
the rack of ribs you had, and
I know how to
that
do
was
ribs
like-
and steak.
Yeah.
Steak, I get
That was
lucky.
good.
Steak, I'm probably 75% of the time it's pretty freaking good. 25% of the time, the big green egg gets a little hot. Those things are brutal.
Well, those you have to monitor it, right?
All
You have
baked
to
in.
put in wood, kind of like
And you know me, I get
adjust
distracted.
it. Yeah.
Not put in wood. Like you have the coal, but it has a vent on top and bottom
Yeah,
that
to
allows airflow to
control
make
the
heat.
Adjust the temperature.
Yeah, I
You
get
have to-
distracted. I'm in the pool or the hot tub or watching a YouTube video. I'm like, oh shit, the steaks. They're
Yep.
like, what happened to our steaks? They're like, shut up, kids.
Well, do we want to end it off with one of your segments where we are talking about a story from
Story.
your life?
I've got a good one.
You have a lot.
This is a funny one. I love this one. It's got him, Mike Listerman, who was an advertising executive locally. He called me one day. He's like, my brother-in-law needs a job. He just lost his job at Frito-Lay. He was driving a Frito-Lay truck. And so he came over, interviewed for the job, but we hired him. We were looking for a salesperson. We were expanding. Where Kona Ice's headquarters is, we built that building. And so the back part of that lot, when we were doing construction, had a construction trailer, and we had like probably 300 to 400 units on the lot.
So this is the boat dealership.
Yeah, boat dealership. Yeah, this is the boat and RV dealership. So this has been like 2002, late 2002, early 2003, because we opened up that store in like June of 2003. And so we hired him as a sales guy. And he was we had like 4 guys at our current location. Then we had Jerry and Larry, who had been put out to the construction site. Because we had so many units out there, we thought we were just going to store them there. Well, then people kept coming up wanting to buy them. So I'm like, well, shit, we better put 2 sales guys here. So Frito-Lay, and I guess his name was Tom, I think, but he shows up his first day, and he's no shit guy. He's got like beach sandals, Docker pants that are cut and frayed as shorts, and then like a wife beater shirt or something. And I'm like, what's going on? No, it wasn't a wife beater. It was like a beach shirt. I'm like, what's going on? Like, not much, man. Here, first day. I'm like, first day of what? Like, you're starting today? Yeah. I'm like, oh, geez, dude, my dad sees you. He will murder you. Like, well, he said business casual. I'm like, well, I don't know I don't know what business casual this is, but
You work on the beach.
we're trying to be somewhat professional. I said, do this. I want you to go to the construction site. I'm going to call out there and let them know you're coming. Like, you just train with those guys. So I send them out there, and I guess I only had told Jerry that he was coming. Larry didn't answer the phone. And so Larry answered the phone. It was Jerry didn't answer that didn't, because Jerry always wore these little like, what do you call those? The hat like Indiana Jones wore.
Yeah.
And they're out there, and Larry's inside the office doing his paperwork. And I guess Frito-Lay shows up, and this is his first day, so he has no clue what the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
Well, I guess for some reason he thought Jerry was a customer. And so he's going to help Jerry with a boat or camper. Well, Jerry thought Frito-Lay was a customer, which made sense because he looked like a customer.
Yeah.
And so apparently for like a half hour, they're each going in and out of the trailer asking Larry questions about units. And so after like a half hour, they both come into the office, and Larry's like, so what are you guys doing? Well, he's interested in a boat. And he's like, well, I thought you were interested in a boat. And he's like, you both work here. And
He just started out hot, just like, all right, I'm going to get my first sale. Just showed up. Let's do this.
and Frito-Lay got even better. He worked for us for about, I think, 6 months, and then he got fired. He was terrible. Nice guy, but just terrible at boat sales and obviously some other things there. But what was one of the things when he ended his career with us, this happened right around this, wasn't what he got fired for, but this was kind of just the icing on the cake. We had a policy that employees could have a demo boat.
Yeah.
That we had demo boats and campers and ATVs, and we wanted them to use them on their vacation with their families. But the prerequisite was that you had to know how to use them. And if you didn't, cool. Somebody would take you on the water. We'll get you up to speed. Well, this guy tells like, oh yeah, I've had a boat. So he takes out like an $80,000 Triton fishing ski, 21-footer, fully decked out. Comes back with this thing beat to shit. Windshield is broke. It's got a walk-through windshield. It's a bow rider, fishing ski. It's beat to hell. And we're like, what happened? And turns out he had never been on a boat. And I'm like,
It's like driving a car, right?
who borrows a boat, never been on it, then goes on a vacation with your family? Like, one, you could kill your family.
Oh, yeah.
But two, he destroyed it. And then
Yeah.
like I think the next week he was done. Like my dad had like all these little factors built
Oh,
up.
yeah.
But it still cracked me up that day. He was like, this is business casual. And then Larry calls me like, you're not going to believe this, Matt.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? And he goes on to tell me. And here's a funny story about Larry. We'll end it here. Before that, Larry had worked for us for like 2 years at our original location, Outdoor Consignments, because we started the boat dealership with $5,000 and a Heartland yard barn, a like 200 square foot. I don't know how big it was, like 10 by 10 yard barn. That'd be 100, I guess. And we were next to a gas station on Commonwealth in Erlanger, like about a block from St. Henry High School. And so we were next to this gas station. We had a generator that we used to run certain things on the lot. And so my dad asked Larry to go next door, and Larry was retired, older guy. I'd say at the time he was probably in the 60s. Older guy, retired from GE, great guy, good worker, and give him the card and said, hey, go next door and get some gas. Well, like 30 minutes later, Larry's still not back. And literally, it's like next door.
Yeah.
You walk across our parking lot into theirs and get gas.
Yep.
My dad goes walking over to see what Larry's doing because he needed the gas, and they got the entire gas pump disassembled. Apparently, Larry had never used a credit card or a debit card and didn't know how to work the pump, and he apparently shoved it up the receipt. The guy who owned the gas station's there, and they got the whole pump like taken apart, trying to get the card out of this receipt.
This guy's figuring out everything.
So he figured out that he didn't know how to do that, and then he figured out later on that Frito-Lay and
Yeah.
Jerry were trying to sell each other
Yeah.
boats. So
Wow.
that's all I got.
Amazing. Well, this is episode 2. Look forward to future episodes and also a new working title. See you on the next one.
Dude, I like the name, The Pod.
The Pod?
The Pod.
All right, we'll keep it on the pod.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ching ching.